Hi everyone! This video was requested by YouTube user George Robertson7010. Something I don't think I've spoken about yet on this channel is the CBC Kids morning block on the Canadian television station CBC, or the Canadian Broadcast Corporation. CBC Kids began on the CBC channel in 1987. At the time, it was known as Hodgepodge Lodge, not to be confused with the television show of the same name. This block featured bumpers between shows that included animation of various shapes, classroom supplies, and blocks. Later on, animated animal characters were introduced. This block only aired for 2 hours a day, with usual CBC programming following afterwards. In 1994, there was a call for more Canadian children's programming to air on Canadian television, and Hodgepodge Lodge was renamed to CBC Playground, showing a higher amount of Canadian programming than acquired programming from other countries. The block was expanded by half an hour, with that half hour featuring diverse shows from around the world, while the rest of the time was predominantly Canadian programming. By 1998, the block was expanded once more by an hour, and began collaborating with a program called Get Set for Life, which promoted the development of preschoolers and featured helpful tips for parents, supported by the non-for-profit program Invest in Kids, as well as Canadian Living magazine. This was the point that human hosts began to appear on the block. Lisa Richardson and Drew Carnwaith were the first two to appear in segments between shows. By 2000, the block was taken over completely by Get Set for Life, and renamed as such. It was hosted by Michael Clark and Alison Court, who you may know as Lunette the Clown in The Big Comfy Couch. But in 2003, the block really exploded. There were different hosts in each province in Canada. These included Patty Sullivan in Ontario, Joyce Quinoche in Quebec, Kush Apal in British Columbia and all of Western Canada, Haley Green in Manitoba and all of the Prairies, and Dashi Malone in Newfoundland and Labrador and all of Atlantic Canada. The logo was rebranded from the generic-looking Get Set for Life logo into an animated presenter named Dot. The name of the block was changed to Kids CBC. A set was soon built, featuring an outdoor garden that the presenter would reside in. But shortly thereafter, in 2007, a new set was built, a generic Canadian village. Sadly, this set was only built in Toronto, Ontario for host Patty to work from. But there was representation from all provinces within this quaint little village with a treehouse in the middle. This was when there were puppets introduced. There were 4 major puppets who represented different areas of Canada. Mama Yama represented Ontario, Drumheller represented everything west of Ontario, Captain Claw represented everything east of Ontario, and Simon de Champlain represented Quebec. By 2013, some puppet characters were phased out, and by 2016, Kids CBC was rebranded as CBC Kids, which I still have problems calling it that, as I always still call it Kids CBC. All the old puppets and hosts were removed, and the block was revamped with the live-action segments between shows known as the Studio K Show. This newest iteration also features puppets. The legend himself, Gary the Unicorn, as well as the outstanding Cotton Ball the Cat, Mr. Orlando the Moose, Makeup Monster, and Putter the Computer. The block's current human hosts are Janae Upshaw and Tony Kim. I lived through many iterations of CBC Kids, and I love it to this day. Through its nearly 4-decade run on television, an incredible amount of content is aired. Of course, this means that some shows may have aired on the channel and were never seen again. This brings me to 1999, the ending of the CBC Playhouse era and the beginning of the Get Set for Life era. A little show about some toy machines in a backyard. A simple yet adorable little show that I watched as a very small bean. A show lost for quite some time, but has slowly been reappearing over the years. This show is called Scoop and Doozie.
Scoop, can you dig it? What's a scoop? Can you dig it? What's a scoop? Can you dig it now? What's a scoop now? Scoop, dig it and do it. Can you dig it now? Scoop and do it. What you gonna do today? Scoop and do it. Gonna nail it up, gonna knock it down. Scoop and do it. Gonna eat some dirt, gonna chew some ground. Load them all up. Come on, dig in. Scoop and do it. Scoop and do it. Can you dig it now?
What a catchy theme song. Anyways, Scoop and Doozie aired between 1999 and 2003 on CBC and the Canadian French language channel TVA. It was filmed in British Columbia, Canada. It stars machines that are marketed as lovable earth movers, and are indeed as such. The titular character Doozie is a dozer, and as cute as a button. Scoop is a scoop machine, or an excavator? You'd think I'd know the machines better after being raised on shows such as this one and Mighty Machines. There is also Axel, who is a dump truck, and an antagonist named Spitz, who is a garden hose who is very snake-like and mischievous. These four live in the backyard of a human couple, and their friends include the clothing on a clothing line, comically and repetitively being boxer shorts and long underwear. They are referred to as the Undies, and their names are Jacques and Long John. They often provide information from experiences in the outside world to help the backyard crew with their conflicts. The characters are presented with a basic problem at the beginning of the episode. Like in the episode, A Penny's Worth of Problems, the machines wish they were bigger. Then they find a penny in the ground. Then they throw the penny away as they don't know what it is. Then they're informed by the Undies that money can help them buy bigger parts for themselves, and they learn about what a penny is. They try to find the penny, and realize the owner of the house technically owns the penny. Then they realize they can still get their tasks done without upgrading. Of course, all I was thinking while watching this episode was, what the heck could they buy with a penny anyways? Fun fact, we don't use pennies in Canada anymore. There is also a segment called Fence TV, where the characters look through a hole in the fence and see a video of a real-world occurrence to help them learn about the thing they've encountered in the episode. This always has to do with machinery or construction to fit the theme of the show. Sometimes they also go to the basement window to see what is happening in the house with the human characters, who are played by the puppeteers themselves. The humans are Cal and Mrs. Glover. 3 puppeteers portray all of the characters. Christine Lippa plays Scoop, Spitz, and Mrs. Glover. Norman Foote plays Axel and Long John, and Jim Rankin plays Doozie, Jacques, and Cal. Building puppet versions of machinery is an extremely difficult task, and I find using models such as Thomas the Tank Engine or claymation such as the original Bob the Builder might be easier than manipulating a puppet. However, the puppetry is perfect, the performers absolutely acing the difficult puppets and giving the machinery notable emotions. I have to shout out Doozie's puppetry, as it is absolutely incredible. The clothes hanger is also uniquely puppeted, with one leg of the boxers being used as a mouth on Jacques, and the mouth being the butt flap on Long John. It's really just a solid design of all the puppets, and incredibly creative. The camera work is unique, with Steadicam shots accompanying the basic simple shots of usual puppet shows. There are also excellent POV shots sprinkled throughout the episodes, as we feel like we are the machines doing these segments. This brings a very fun feel to the show, and is extremely immersive. There's usually one simple song an episode that usually deals with the character's conflict. These songs were written by Norman Foote, who plays Long John and Axel. He also wrote and sang the theme song.
Gonna get me a big dirt pile. I have a place to hide. It would be my very own. I could push from side to side. A dirt pile to call my own. I'd find the dirtiest, humongous, giant mound of earth.
Biggest, greatest, boldest, most beautiful bucket!
Souped up, heavy duty, really fast engine. That's what I would do.
Notably, the series won 2 Gemini Awards, which was an award issued by the Academy of Canadian Cinema and Television between 1986 and 2011. The series won for Best Writing in a Children or Youth Program or Series, which went to Vicki Grant, who wrote most of the episodes, as well as Best Performance in a Preschool Program or Series, which went to Jim Rankin. These are very well-deserved awards. But now, for the sad part. Most of the series is lost. There were 65 episodes made in total, and only around 8 episodes are available online, ripped from VHS and DVD releases of the show, or from its airtime on CBC. However, since 2015, episodes have been slowly appearing online. I'm certain as people begin to review their old VHS tapes from their childhood, more episodes will be unveiled. There is definitely a fan base for the show, as it was beloved by children in the early 2000s, especially those who are interested in construction and machines. I think the show would work perfectly today, with machine-based shows dominating children's television as of 2024. Someday the show will be found in its entirety, I'm sure. With its fan base, someone must have recorded more episodes than what's available online, and I hope soon that they will emerge to bring back the happy childhood memories that this show created for so many. Scoop and Doozie really is an incredible piece of obscure puppet media. Remember to like, subscribe, and comment with any feedback or suggestions for future videos. Thanks for watching, and I'll talk to you later.